Good morning, everyone. Still many have to join. Okay. Yesterday, you people tried that browser thing. Have you tested which website will run faster on web browser? Among Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, and all. Is it okay? It depends on what. Is it browser speed or the website speed? What about others? Only few are replying. What about others? Others, have you checked or not? See, when you are using such applications, being a software engineer, you should always keep those things in mind, okay? Which application is running fast, on which platform it is running fast, what might be the reason for which some application performs better than other application. Okay, all are e-commerce application itself, but on web browser, only few of them will perform better. Okay, so interface. See, when you are using any IT related things, any applications, just keep looking into its working, okay, its operations. What are the things it is doing, how it is doing, which one is better? Is it like in which category it is better? See, WhatsApp, why people are using WhatsApp so much when there is Telegram or Hike, many such other applications are there. Why people are using WhatsApp? See, when it comes to product, not just only technology or the coding and all, even branding will also matter, right? So see, since one or the other day you will be building applications, okay, you have to market it. The things you have to, all these things, background information should be there in your head, okay? Which application you prefer using? Is it WhatsApp or Hike? Which website you will prefer? Is it Amazon or Flipkart? Okay, when you are using on browser, which one you will prefer? When you are using on application, which one you will prefer? All these things. See, you are also an end user, okay? So your preferences, it will be same as your client's preferences. So once you start designing these things, you must understand what will be the user need. Okay, what a user looks into in your application. All these things, Facebook, Instagram, Gmail, okay, Yahoo Mail. Why everyone is using Gmail? What about other mailing system? Is there any other mailing system other than Gmail? Does anyone know any other mailing application other than Gmail, Yahoo, and Outlook, and any other? Okay, are you people having IDs in these Yahoo and Outlook and all? Other than Gmail, you have any email ID in other mailing system? Okay, why not? Tomorrow, if Google decides they will shut down the Google, what you will do? How you will communicate? See, Gmail is from Google, right? And Google, they will decide that okay, we will not provide email ID for Indians, and they will shut down their Indian server. So what you will do? You'll stop communicating. Choose other services. Yahoo. Yahoo is owned by whom? Who owns Yahoo? Who is the owner of Yahoo? Outlook. Who is the owner of Outlook? You people know it or not? Okay, so those are the email IDs. Three major service providers, and all three will decide that they will not provide mailing service for Indians, and they will shut down their server. So what next? Topic. Before we start the analysis of algorithm, one more concept we need to understand, that is order of growth. Order of growth of an algorithm is a way of predicting how execution time of a program and the space or memory occupied by it changes with the input size. See, yesterday we were discussing input size will also matter a lot when we are talking about the performance of an algorithm. So order of growth will give us the information about how it will change, that is time complexity, how it will change with respect to the size of the input. So just consider here two algorithms. Okay, I have two algorithms. We have analyzed and we got their run times. Okay, their algorithm A takes 100 n plus 1 steps to solve a particular problem. Algorithm B takes n square plus n plus 1 steps to solve that particular problem. N represents the size. Okay, that is input. So algorithm is A is taking 100 plus n steps. Algorithm B is taking n square plus n plus 1 steps. So by seeing this, can we say which algorithm is better? You just observe this table. For input size n value 10, runtime of algorithm A is 1000 and runtime of algorithm B is 100. For n value 100, runtime of algorithm A and runtime of algorithm B both are almost similar. Okay, they both are similar. For n value 1000, okay, runtime of A is this much and runtime of B is getting more. And if n value is 10,000, you can see runtime of B has exceeded like anything. Okay, so what we can conclude by seeing this table? Okay, two algorithms are there to solve the same problem. Okay, but runtimes for smaller input, algorithm A is performing better. For larger input, algorithm B is performing better. Okay, so you like number of inputs really matters a lot when you are talking about the performance or of an algorithm. Okay, so usually when we talk about analysis of algorithm, we'll always prefer algorithm which performs better for more inputs, higher number of n value. Okay, so performance analysis we'll do for we'll assume that number of input will be high. Okay, so performance analysis we'll say that algorithm with which takes less runtime for more number of input performs better. If that is the case, when you see this number of steps, algorithm A is taking 100 n plus 1, algorithm B is taking n square plus n plus 1. Okay, so these two things you just remember. So when as I said, for smaller value, algorithm A looks bad. For higher values, algorithm A is performing better. The reason is larger, n square term will grow faster, okay, compared to n. Algorithm B has got n square plus n plus 1 term steps. So the leading term is highest, n square. Okay, that is okay. Here leading term is n. Here leading term is n square. So in the algorithm, we'll always see the leading term. Okay, constant doesn't matter. This 100n, it may be 1000n. Even if it is 1000n, this algorithm A will perform better for more values of n when you compare to this n square. N square is exponent. See, this is the leading term, and it's a quadratic, this is a linear value and this is quadratic. So for more number of n values, this will take more number of steps. Is it clear? So when you find out the steps in the algorithm, based on the leading term, you can say which algorithm will perform better, running time of which algorithm will be better. By seeing these steps, you can easily find out running time of which algorithm is better for more number of input. Okay. Same thing for algorithm A, the leading term has a large coefficient. As I said, it may be 100 or 1000. Okay, which is why B does better than A for small n. But regardless of the coefficient, there will be always some value of n where A into n square will be greater than B into n. And constants will not matter when we are doing algorithm analysis. Constants will not consider the constants that much. Okay, you'll see further. Okay, this is the rate of growth. Okay, order of growth of algorithm. This is one concept you should always keep in mind. Order of growth is very important. Again, when doing analysis, this background information you'll get the idea there at that time. Okay. So in general, we expect an algorithm with a smaller leading term to be a better algorithm for large problems. As I said, our previous case itself, 100n plus 1 and n square plus n plus 1, two algorithms we had. So algorithm with smaller leading time will be better algorithm for large problems. Okay. So that leading term, when I say leading term, it may be n square, log n, it may be like that, n cube. So that leading term, with the algorithm with smaller leading term will be better, will be always better for large problem. That is the conclusion you can give. So when comparing performance of an algorithm, we always have to use large inputs. Okay, because for smaller inputs, we'll not get that much idea, and it should be independent of CPU speed or this I'm repeating again and again, irrespective of the programming language, we are going to find out the performance of an algorithm. So one experimental, you can implement the algorithm, you can write the program for any algorithm, and you can do the study itself. So people have done that experimental study where for smaller input, this is milliseconds, y-axis is milliseconds and x-axis is number of input. For smaller input size, always algorithm takes lesser execution time. Okay, people have for few algorithms they have done this experiment, and you can see with the increase in the input size, the time taken increases exponentially. Okay, so this is a study people have already made. They have written the program for algorithm and then perform this study. Okay, theoretically, when we are doing performance evaluation, what we should do, always use high level description of algorithm instead of implementation. We are not going to implement the algorithm, write the program and give inputs and do all the study. So we'll just represent the programs in the form of steps and characterize running time in the as a function of n, because as I said, number of input is very important. So running time is nothing but it should be the function of input size, and we must take into account all the possible inputs. Again, it should be independent of hardware or software environment. So for any algorithm, first thing is you have to find out the step count. The final thing is nothing but the sum of the step counts that are present in the algorithm. Okay, each statement will have steps depending on the type of the statement. So in your algorithm, you have to identify, that is the basic operation. As I said, when you are taking an algorithm for analysis, basic operation you have to identify. That is nothing but we are calling it steps here. And frequency of execution of each statement. Okay, that you have to multiply. Frequency, like step 1 is executing 10 times, means it will become 10. Okay, that frequency of execution of each statement, and then if you add it up, you'll get the step count of that particular algorithm. Okay, any algorithm, we can find out the step count for that particular algorithm, steps involved, how many times each step is executing. Okay, I'll give a few examples. You'll understand. So here is an algorithm sum. Okay, so this algorithm will find out the sum of the elements in an array. Array size is n, and array is a. So our task is to find out the step count for this algorithm. Okay, so this is an algorithm to find out the sum of elements in an array A of size n. So first statement is I am going to initialize the sum to 0. Okay, so this is one step. That step count 1, frequency is 1. Okay, frequency is just 1. Only this statement is executed once, so its frequency is 1. And there is a for loop which will run n plus 1 times. Okay, you know that for loop will run n plus 1 times. So steps or execution 1 statement, and it will execute n plus 1 times. Okay, there is one statement, and this for statement will execute n plus 1 time. And once you go inside the for loop, there is one more statement, s is equal to s plus a of 0 or a of 1. Okay, s is equal to s plus. So there is one statement inside the for loop, one statement. How many times this statement will execute? The frequency of execution is n. Okay, for loop, this for statement will run n plus 1 times, but this will go inside for loop only n times. So this statement will be executed n times. And once you are out of for loop, one more statement will be executed, that is return statement. So one statement and its execution frequency once. So inside the algorithm sum, there are 4 statements. Okay, there are 4 statements. I have listed on those 4 statements, and frequency execution of those statements, number of times those statements are executed. So one statement, one time, that is total is 1. For statement, only one for statement is there, its frequency is n plus 1. Okay, total n plus 1. And again, one more statement is there, its frequency n. Okay, return statement 1, frequency is 1. So total, this algorithm will take 2n plus 3 step count. Okay, so this is very important. Any algorithm, when we are doing analysis, we have to find out the step count of that algorithm. Okay, similarly, just like this, you can find out the step counts of any algorithm. See, we will see a number of examples. Okay, even though if it is confusing now, right now, don't worry, because we'll be seeing more examples. We'll be trying to find out more steps and all like this. So easily you can find it out. You can also find out the step count of any given algorithm. Only thing is we need to understand how it is done. Okay. So step count, we got step count for this algorithm sum 2n plus 3. Is it clear? We shall see one more example. Okay, algorithm add. When you see the algorithm itself, you can understand this is the algorithm to add two matrices. Okay, add A matrix B, A and B, and store it in C. Okay, M and N rows are there. So two for loops are there: outer for loop, inner for loop, and three statements. Altogether, three statements are there. Okay, first for loop, one statement, it will run m plus m plus 1 times. Second for loop, okay, again one more statement. This will run m number of times. Okay, frequency is m into, again inside it will run n plus 1 times. Is it clear? This for statement frequency is m, that is it is inside the first for loop, so m into n plus 1 times. So finally we will come to this statement which is inside both the for loops. So that statement will execute mn number of times. Okay, this last statement will execute mn number of times. So totally step count will be 2mn plus 2m plus 1. Is it clear? So this is the step count for this algorithm, add algorithm. So final step count is 2mn plus 2m plus 1. Similarly, you can find out step count of any algorithm. Okay, so once we do this step count, next thing is evaluation of an algorithm. So how we are going to evaluate an algorithm? To evaluate an algorithm, we call it as asymptotic analysis. Characterize algorithm based on asymptotic growth rate, that is whether it's linear, quadratic, or exponential. And as I said, we'll ignore small constants and small inputs, and we are going to estimate upper bound and lower bound on growth rate of time complexity function. The growth rate we are going to find out, and for that we'll find out upper bound and lower bound, and describe the running time of algorithm as n grows to 0 to n grows to infinity. Okay, we are not going to, like for fixed size input, usually it will not be used, and all results are for sufficiently large input. That is the limitation of this asymptotic analysis. When we are doing evaluation of algorithm, we'll make use of asymptotic notations. That is three major asymptotic notations are there: big O, big omega, and big theta. Big O notation, usually it is used for upper bound, big omega for lower bound, and big theta for average. That is, big O we can say for worst case analysis, big omega for best case, big theta for average case analysis of time complexity. So what is big O notation? See, these are the notation, as I said, which we are using for analyzing the algorithm or comparing the performance of two algorithms. To do that, we are using these asymptotic notations. And this is very important topic, asymptotic notation, big O, big theta, and big omega. You have to understand these basic notations, because in place for placement or in GATE exams, they will give you some pseudocode and they'll ask you to find out its first case analysis, best case analysis, like that. It will be in the form of big O or big theta, big omega notation. And asymptotic notation, when you see for it for the first time, it will confuse you a lot. Okay, you will get confused when you are trying to understand this thing. Okay, order of growth, asymptotic notations, okay, algorithm statement, counts, all these things will confuse you a lot. The thing is, see, now you have a lot of time, so I suggest you study first module. Already I have uploaded the textbook for first module. Don't try to read any notes at this time, at this point, okay? You have to read the textbook itself. In textbook, he has explained very clearly what these things are. And you have to refer the syllabus for which topic, which textbook you have to study. Based on that only you study the textbook. Clearly, in detail, he has explained all these things, okay? If you want to understand it in depth, I suggest you to study the textbook now itself. Okay. However, I explain you, still there will be a lot of confusions in these topics. Okay. The thing is, if you also study parallelly, then it will be helpful to clear your doubts. Okay. Only if you just listen to the lecture, it will be very difficult for you people to understand these things. Okay. So big O notation. I will explain it today and again tomorrow I will repeat this thing, big O notation, because it's very important. If you miss this thing, you will not understand anything in the upcoming topics. Okay, for that reason I will explain it tomorrow again. So big O notation. So given two functions f of n, see f of n, when I am saying these functions, mathematically we are trying to represent the algorithm in the form of functions. Okay, f of n and g of n. Don't worry about the in-depth meaning of these things, mathematical meaning of these things. And we are just trying to represent the algorithm in the form of functions. Okay, only that much information is enough. So when I am saying f of n, it is nothing but I am talking about one algorithm. Okay, one algorithm is represented in the form of function. So given two functions f of n and g of n for input n, we say f of n is in order of g of n. See, big O of g of n or order of g of n, you can call it as. We say f of n is in order of g of n if and only if there exists positive constant c and n naught such that f of n is less than or equal to c into g of n for all n greater than or equal to n naught. Okay, f of n and g of n are two functions, and we say that f of n is in order of g of n only when there exist two constants c and n naught, such that f of n should be less than or equal to c into g of n. Okay, f of n is a function, and you can say that it is in the order of g of n only if it is less than or equal to c into g of n. Okay, for all n, okay, n inputs, n may be 10, it should be greater than or equal to n naught, means n naught is 20 or 30. After n reaches this value, n naught, then only we can say that f of n is less than or equal to c of. You can observe the graph here. Okay, so f of n, this function, is represented by this line, and c into g of n is this line. Okay, n naught value after this certain number of input, after this threshold, you can call it as threshold, f of n will be less than c into g of n after it cross this threshold. Okay, you can see here. After it crosses this threshold, f of n will be less than c into g of n. We say that g of n is an asymptotic upper bound for f of n. Okay, f of n, as I said, if it is our algorithm, if the algorithm is represented using f of n, we can say that g of n is an asymptotic upper bound. As I said, big O of n is used to represent upper bound, big omega lower bound. Okay, So g of n is an asymptotic upper bound for f of n. Always c into g of n will be greater than f of n. Okay, so just overview of big O. Take two functions f of n and g of n. Consider only the most significant term and remove the constant multipliers. If your function is phi a n plus 3, it will be big O of n. Okay, if it is 7n plus 5 square plus 2000, we will not consider multipliers and constants. So it will be big O of n square. If n log n is there, it is 300 n plus 12 plus n log n. It will be only n log n. Okay, then compare the functions. F of n should be less than or equal to c into g of n. Then only we can say f of n is in the order of g of n. Okay, again, this example I will explain in the next class. Okay, if you are not under, please, I'm requesting you again. You people have to study this concept in the textbook. Then only you can follow. If you just listen to the class, it will be very difficult. Okay, all of you, we are running out of time. Mark your attendance, all of you, fast. Okay, you have to mark your attendance fast. Is it clear? Tomorrow again, I will explain, start with Big O itself. A lot of things are there in Big O explanation itself. Okay, so we shall see in the next class. Again, we shall continue from here only, Big O of n. And yesterday I have given the website name. All the materials I will upload in that website itself. Okay, you can check the details, videos, notes, textbook. Okay, thank you.